everyone! Welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that I'm here. It's been a long time and I'm glad to be back. This is part one of my easy piano version of the song Africa by the band Toto. If you have never seen the music video for this song, you need to check it out. It's very dramatic and very early 80s, and none of it really makes sense. So if you watch it and you can tell me like what is the message of the video, let me know in the comments section. Also, I'm not really sure what the song is about. I've read the lyrics and they're very poetic, like they're cool, but I don't know really what the song is about. So if you do, or you think you do, let me know in the comments. So if you have watched the performance video, I'll put the link here, then you know this is a pretty long song, or if you've looked at the sheet music, you know it's quite a few pages. So you might be wondering, how is this an easy piano version? Well, I changed the key of the song, meaning I changed where on the piano you would play it from the original version, so that we're playing a lot more white keys, which makes it easier to play and also easier to read if you're looking at the sheet music. The other thing that I changed is I made it a lot simpler, obviously, than what the whole band is playing. So in most places, the left hand is mostly just playing one note at a time or two notes at a time, and it's very, very repetitive. The other thing that makes it really easy, once you understand how it goes, is the chorus, which is the part that repeats every time the same way. Gonna take a lot to take me away from you. That part is the same like every time. So when you learn it once, you'll just keep playing it over and over. And also the verse is pretty much the same, except obviously the words are different, so you're gonna have some slightly different melodies and things like that. Not necessarily melodies, but rhythms. So if you want, you can just keep repeating the verse 1 over and over whenever it comes back after the chorus. The other thing I made simpler is I took that really cool keyboard solo that the keyboard player plays in Toto, and I made it as simple as I could while still keeping the spirit of it. So I teach you how to play all that in the subsequent tutorials. All right, if you are ready to learn part one, which is really the introduction of Africa by the band Toto, then keep watching. The intro is pretty easy because there's a lot of repetition. You might need to practice this part a little bit because of the technique involved. It's using our two weakest fingers, 5 and 4, over and over. So if that doesn't happen for you immediately, what do you need to do? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? You need to practice. So if it doesn't happen immediately, it does not mean that you can't play it. It just means you haven't developed the ability yet. So that's different. Okay, you have the potential. You have to work toward that potential. So I want to say that right up front. So sometimes people tell me, this is not easy. I can't play it. Well, it's easier once you can play it, but then you have to practice to get to that point, right? Okay, so the rhythm. Don't worry too much about it right now. You'll start to feel it, and especially if you play as you imagine the song in your head, you'll get it fine. We're going to start with the right hand today. I don't know why, I just feel like starting with the right hand. Let's do second finger on D. That's the D above middle C. So you play that D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, okay? And then first finger on C, and then fourth finger on F. So if you play it with this rhythm, it doesn't really sound like Africa, does it? But those are the right notes. Now I have to add the rhythm. Now it sounds like Africa. So it's long, the first one's long, and then the other ones are short. Okay? Let me do it really slow so you can play along. 1, 2, ready, go. All right. Now, if you have done Piano Boot Camp 2, this is the perfect song for you to practice because of the rhythms that we learn in that course and the ties and all that. You already have the information. So if you practice this song with that information in mind, you'll really own the information. So we've done exercises and so on in Piano Boot Camp too, but really putting it together with a song you know well will help you so much in reading it and then identifying how those rhythms go. Okay, we did that. Now here's that noodly part up here. Fifth finger on G, that's the high G. Fourth on F, second on D, first on C, back to D, second finger. Let's just do that much. See if you can keep your wrist flexible. So you don't want to do this. Okay, that's a recipe for not being able to play for very long, and it also will not feel great and won't sound great. You won't go fast. If your fingers and everything is tight, you cannot play fast. It's like trying to lock your knees and tensing up your thighs and trying to go for a run. Like that doesn't work, right? So imagine your fingers are running, so you have to give them some help by being relaxed. So let's do that much again. G, F, D, C, D. So notice that I'm falling with my wrist on every finger. I do have very soon coming a piano boot camp for technique that will help you with all this stuff. So be on the lookout for that. So we're going to play that one more time, then we're going to move on. G, F, D, C, D. And then you do it again. G, F, D, C, D. Then you do it again. G, F, D, C, D. And then the last time you played just G and F. So 3 times G, F, D, C, D, and then on the 4th time, just G, F. Now again, if I do it with this rhythm, it doesn't sound like Africa. See, I'm waiting. So that does not sound like Africa. So what you have to do is play all of them the same length. Except for that last F is a little bit longer. So it's a little bit of a tongue twister for your fingers. It's a finger twister. But again, if you practice nice and slow for long enough that you feel like you've got it and then start to go faster, it's definitely doable. I guarantee it. If you try to get it right away and give up, then, you know, what can I tell you? All right, so let's do it again. G, F, D, C, D. G, F, D, C, D. G, F, D, C, D, G, F. So let's go back to those Ds and then we'll add the stuff on top. 1, 2, ready, play. So you see what a difference there is in the rhythm? These low notes are pretty long compared to these guys. The reason they seem long is because there are rests in between these notes. If you don't know what a rest is and you want to find out, Piano Boot Camp 1. So one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Then you do that again. So we did that whole thing twice. The third time is very, very similar. You just add an extra D. So the first 2 times we had 5 Ds in a row. Now we're going to have 6 Ds. Listen. Did you hear that? So in the first 2 we had a long D and then a bunch of short ones. We got rid of the long one in the sense that we made it shorter and we added another short one next to it. Watch. Okay, that's the only difference, is those 2 Ds. Then we come back up here and do it again. Okay, and then on the last time, the 4th time, it's just like the first 2 times. Pretty easy intro. Once you've got this handled, you just repeat it several times. So we're gonna go from the very, very beginning, 2 times exactly the same way, the 3rd time with that extra added D, and then the 4th time like the first 2 times. Are you ready? We'll go nice and slow. 1, 2, ready, go. Here's the different one. And then back to the old one. Okay, so I'm anticipating a question, which is, how do I get from here to there and hit the right note? So you don't want to go, right? All right, so 2 things to remember. You must practice it slowly. Have I said that enough times yet? I don't know. I keep having to tell my in-life students too, so I'll probably have to tell my YouTube students all the time. You must play slowly. There are physical processes involved that you can't bypass. Okay, so you have to teach your muscles where to go. So the last note we play down here is F. Pick up your wrist. Let your fingers hang. Do not do this. Do not let your fingers lead the way. Wrist picks up, fingers just hang there like a rag. Go across, kind of energizing your 5th finger, knowing that it's going to play. Hear that G in your mind. Okay, and then aim right for it. Imagine that there's a bullseye. Notice how close I am to the key. I'm not up here because it's really harder to aim from here, right, than it is right there. Okay, so imagine if you were shooting darts at a target. Do you want to be across the room or right in front of it? So be right in front of it, then lower your wrist. So in slow motion looks like this. See that? So I lift my wrist, let the fingers hang, and then once I'm on top of the note that I want, I drop my wrist. Then you go a little faster. Okay? No matter how fast you go, the technique itself doesn't change. So when you're playing slowly, you do this, and then when you go fast, you go like that. That doesn't work. That's not what you practice. So see? Fingers always low. Oops. Fingers are always low. I'm glad I missed that because that brings up another point. Nobody ever gets it 100% perfect every time. Nobody. 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 So if you make mistakes, guess what? That's good because that shows that you're learning and you're reaching. All right. That's it for the right hand in the introduction. Left hand 3rd finger is on B flat. So here's middle C, here's the B flat right below middle C, and now we're going down an octave from there. Now you're going to play 5 B flats in a row in the same rhythm that you did the right hand Ds. Then 4th finger on A, 1st finger on D. Then you play that D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's do that together, nice and slow. 1, 2, ready, go. So let's talk about technique. Again, your wrist is very flexible, or it should be. You should be striving for that. You might ask, how can I keep the wrist flexible without letting the fingers collapse? The same way as when you're walking, your legs don't buckle out from under you, but at the same time, you don't walk like a robot. There's flexibility in your spine and in your knees, right? You don't lock your knees and walk and say, well, how can I walk if I don't lock my knees? I'll fall. No, you don't. It's a balance that you learn, okay? Same thing. You already know how to control parts of your body for doing other things. Now you just have to learn how to do it in this particular activity. All right, so let's do that again. Again, from the wrist, and the finger stays very close to the key. We don't want this. We're not slapping the keys, okay? You want the wrist doing the work. So 1, 2, ready, go. Then you repeat it. Now remember, when we did the right hand, the third time had an extra D added. So the left hand's going to do the same thing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then A, and then A, but get it better than I did. So, and then still your 5 Ds in a row. And then back to the way you did it the first 2 times. Now, hands together is actually pretty easy in this case because the right hand and the left hand are doing the same rhythm at the same time on these notes down here. So let's try it together. Left hand B flat, right hand D, 3 and 2. By the way, if these fingerings don't work for you, use whatever does, okay? These are just suggestions, and even I myself might not use the same fingering every time I play it. I probably won't. So don't feel like you're stuck with these fingerings if they don't work for you. Try, experiment, see what works. All right, so B flat and D. Ready, go. Now, here's your D and F together. Right hand jumps up and plays G and F, while the left hand lifts, then together on the Ds. Left hand lifts, together. Lift the left hand, together. Lift the left hand, and together. Okay, so if you know how to read music, you might say, well, these left hand Ds are half notes. Why do I need to lift them so early on? Because if you're going to play the note again, you have to let it pop up. And right now we're going super duper slow, right? That's not exactly how the song goes. So it seems like we're picking up the left hand way too early. But if you do it the right tempo, you see that? You need that. You need to pick it up. If you wait, it doesn't work. So that's why when you're practicing slowly, you must practice the moves the same way that you're going to play them when you're going fast. That's the whole point of practicing slowly, is to get that muscle memory in place. So let's do that again. Ready, go. If that's difficult for you, stop. Practice slowly. Get the music. Even if you don't know how to read sheet music, it will really help you to see where I am in the song and how things line up. And guess what? You might even start learning to read notes despite yourself. Then we repeat that whole thing again. So that was 2 times. What happens on the 3rd time? Those quick notes. And then the last time is like the first 2 times. Remember, this might get kind of tricky for you if you're not used to using 4th and 5th fingers. It's okay. Practice. All right, so pedaling. Again, this is just a suggestion. You don't have to do what I'm doing. It's a place to start. Okay, so put down the pedal with the very first notes. Now here you're gonna play and change. If you don't know what that means, look at my pedaling tutorial. Hold the pedal down. Oops, I'm gonna do that again so that I can do it clean and you can see it. So push down the pedal. Change. 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 So you might be noticing that it sounds a little blurry going from here, that. But again, keep in mind that first of all, this pedaling is only a suggestion. You can change there if you want, if it really bothers you, but also that we're playing really, really slow, and so you're having a lot of time to hear what's happening. Now, if you go at the, about the right tempo, it sounds like this. I'm gonna do the same exact pedaling that I just showed you. And again, if you don't like that it sounds muddy, you can change it, change the pedal. But I'm not gonna change it so you can hear what it sounds like. So it's a little blurry, but it's nothing that really is shocking or awful to listen to. And if you go even faster, make mistakes too, it's fine. But I think that's a little too fast for this song, but who knows, maybe you want to play fast. Anyway, that's the whole intro. That was the intro to the song. I hope that you learned it and it was easy for you after you practiced it for a while. If you're ready to learn the rest of the song, follow the link in the description box and that will take you to where all my other tutorials are. Okay, let me know how you're doing. Have fun, keep practicing, and I'll see you soon.